All right, let's talk about some rookies. Let's start with Scoot Henderson. The speed pops right away. His jumper's broke, which we'll talk about in a minute, but he gets really good looks on his pull-up jump shots, especially in pick and rolls and ISOs, and it's because people are all the way back on their heels trying to contain his speed. That's the part that reminds me so much of Russell Westbrook. It's like he just gets really, really good pull-up jump shots. These are not Damian Lillard, I'm getting smothered, I can't believe I got the shot off type of shots like you see from Dame and Steph and guys like CJ McCollum and guys like that. Like, no, he's straight up, has defenders on his heels, and he's getting to his spots every single time. He's already great in transition. He had 16 points on 14 transition possessions so far in preseason. His rim finishing, it's better than it looks. He's 11 for 19 at the rim, which is just 58%. But he had like 3 or 4 possessions where he like saw a rim protector and just was like, and like went downhill and like just took off into his chest and like took the body and like it just threw some wild shit up at the rim. And like, we're going to talk about this when we get to the Thompson twins too, but like a big thing for rookies is identifying pretty quickly that NBA defenses are really good at making sure they have their help side positioned at the rim and their interior size is just a hell of a lot bigger than you're accustomed to seeing, right? And like there was a play there where Scoot Henderson like straight up challenged Walker Kessler at the rim. And it's like, dude, he's standing there waiting for you. You're probably not going to finish that. And so rim decisions for a lot of these athletes are going to be things to keep an eye on over the course of their careers. But you take those possessions out, if he makes a couple better decisions there, his rim finishing goes up into the mid 60s, high 60s, which is where you expect a super athletic guard like him to be. He also made both of his floaters in preseason. That's another option he can use when he's running into rim protectors like that. The jumper. Solid in catch and shoot situations. He's actually 5 for 10 on catch and shoot threes. You could see that his lift and his release is just a lot smoother in those situations. But he's just 2 for 16 on pull-up jump shots. And almost every miss has been short off the front of the rim. He's kind of got a little bit of a hitch in his gather where he's losing power. And again, like pull-up shooting in particular is harder than regular shooting because you're transmitting a change of direction into a straight up and down jump shot. And so there has to be really good energy transfer, meaning like from your feet to the handle, through the gather, up through the release. You can't have things that cause you to lose power. That's where a hitch can cause you to fail to get the ball over the front of the rim, right? He's going to learn over his time in the NBA that he's got to have a certain amount of fluidity to be a good pull-up jump shooter because that's the only way he's going to be able to consistently make the shots that the coverages are going to give to him. Passing and pick and roll, the Suns and Jazz were offering a ton of nail help and strong side help. So most of his passes in pick and roll have just been basic swing passes. But again, those are the right reads. And if he's as good in pick and roll getting downhill as we know he can be, a lot of teams are going to have to offer nail help and strong side help. He did make a really nice skip pass against New Zealand, a pick and roll on the right wing where he threw like this wild one-arm rifle pass that hit the shooter in the corner wide open. So that's an example of some of the higher end potential there. The pocket passes have been tough with how teams have guarded them, but they have had some success when they've cleared the side. So like they had some success this preseason with like Ayton and Scoot on the left side of the floor, all three shooters spaced out, basically short corner, wing, and then making it so that it's a lot harder to offer that extra help or tag the roller in pick and roll. On defense, he's not devoting a ton of energy there right now. He should eventually be a great a ball pressure guard and screen navigator because he's that kind of athlete. But right now he's kind of hanging back and letting guys get comfortable. He's not really pressuring the ball, slow to get around screens. There was a play against the Jazz where he kind of did like this crazy hop step to get around a Walker Kessler screen to pressure from behind. And that was kind of an example to me of what he's capable of being. But right now, I just don't think he cares too much about it. But that'll happen in time, especially as he gets sick of losing at the NBA level. Like all of the good guards in the NBA that end up impacting winning at a high level end up eventually defending at a pretty high level. Like even Steph, who is the best offensive player of his era, legitimately turned himself into an average to above average defensive player when he was in his prime. Overall, he's about where you'd expect a freaky young athletic guard to be. Like no one can guard him. He's just not making shots, but he's getting to his spots. And when he actually gets to the point where he can consistently make the shots, that's when the results will follow. And the catch and shoot numbers are really encouraging. That to me is a great example of what. And we're going to talk about this with Brandon Miller because it's been the opposite, where like he's made his pull up jump shots, but he's been missing his catch and shoots. And like a lot of players struggle with that dichotomy. We'll talk about that in a minute. But if he adds that fluidity off the bounce with his jumper, everything else will open up, and the defense will come in time with experience in the NBA.